welcome to this ActiveCampaign tutorial where I will show you how this email marketing software tool works. My name is Robin from creatoract.com and I have more than 10 years of email and digital marketing experience, so I got you covered. So first, if you don't have an ActiveCampaign account yet, please use my link in the YouTube description. So the first link in the YouTube description says free ActiveCampaign 14-day trial. Please use that link. So a few years ago, while I was still consulting e-commerce business owners, these businesses would pay a significant number for a training similar to this. So now I don't have to charge a fee anymore because I can help more people at once with my YouTube videos and my website. So watching my video or using my ActiveCampaign link definitely supports the channel, similar to clicking the thumbs up button or leaving a comment down below, since that will result in a higher ranking for these YouTube videos. So doing one of these things helps out a lot for my YouTube channel. So as a thank you, I want to give you this 10-page free ebook. So this ebook explains the 3 steps that I took to get to 50 daily newsletter signups per day with my online business. Please see a link to this ebook down below in the YouTube description. And just for the people wondering, besides creating these email marketing videos here on YouTube, I started the dog training website. So this website you see over here back in 2015 that grew out to be one of the most popular doggy websites in the Netherlands. And I also self-published these 4 books. So these books are available in Dutch. So on my website, I sell these books on my website, but I also translated them to English a while ago to sell them to a worldwide audience. So this is pretty cool. So this is my Shopify store for my 4 books. So as you can see, I have more than 300 reviews every day. More reviews are coming in. I also sell an online course on this Shopify store besides my books, but the main sales driver are the 4 books. So this video isn't about me, so if you want to know more about my story, please check out the About page on my website, creatoract.com, and let's quickly move on with the ActiveCampaign tutorial. So after clicking on the link in the description below on YouTube, you'll see this ActiveCampaign page where you can sign up for a 14-day free trial. And just so you know, there is no forever free plan with ActiveCampaign. So they only offer a 14-day free trial. You don't have to enter your credit card details though. So this is a plus. And another thing to keep in mind, although you can test many features in the 14-day free trial, you can't try everything. So furthermore, if you upgrade to the light version of ActiveCampaign, you will lose some features that you can use in the 14-day free trial. So that can be a little bit confusing, just so you know. So for the ones that really like to follow step-by-step what I do, I will show you the sign-up process as well. You can also use the timestamps down below in the YouTube description if you want to skip around to the more interesting parts of this video. So let's sign up for the free plan over here. So here you need to enter your name and your phone number. So here you select how many contacts you already have, how many employees, and what industry you're in. And you can select what email service or marketing automation provider you currently use, so they will suggest some migration options over there. You don't have to select this though. I'm going to click on next step. You're going to fill in your password. So that's it. That's how you sign up for a free plan of ActiveCampaign. So after you sign up for a free plan, make sure to save this unique login link. So I'll suggest that you save this link as a bookmark tab in your browser. So in this lesson, I will show you how to add your own custom domain email address, because no email marketing company will suggest you use a free email address like a Gmail or a Hotmail email address for sending broadcast emails. So to do this, you need to have your own domain name email address, obviously, like for example, my email address info@creatoract.com. So if you don't have your own domain name yet, you can purchase one over at bluehost.com. And if you purchase a web hosting over at a web hosting company, you will also get email hosting as well. But if you don't need a website, you don't have to purchase web hosting, obviously, and then you can use hover.com. So hover.com is an email hosting only, so I suggest you do that over there if you don't need a website but do need email hosting. And if you want to sign up for Bluehost or Hover, you can find my links in the description below. So please use my links. And as a thank you, you can download my free ebook, my 10-page free ebook I showed you earlier. So this free ebook, the 50 daily newsletter signups, you can download that ebook for free if you want. I very much appreciate you using my links, so thank you very much in advance. So to add your own email domain, you're going to click on this icon over here, so on settings, and after you click on that settings tab, you're going to go to advanced, and over here you can add more email domains. And just as an example, I'm going to remove this domain over here and I'll re-add it, so just to show you how easy it is. So I'm going to click on remove domain. So here it says verify a new domain. So I'm gonna add this domain over here. So an email has been sent to verify this domain. So when adding a new domain, you will receive an email to that email address you just added. So this is the email, please verify your domain. So you need to click on this button or this link to verify your domain. So I'm gonna do that. And now you see your domain has been verified. And as you can see, the domain is back and it's verified. And now you can send campaigns using that domain instead of using a Gmail address. So besides adding your own domain name, email address inside the settings tab, what we just did, if you want to use the deals feature inside ActiveCampaign, so this is the deals feature if you click on this $sign over here. So I'll do that right now. You get to this pipeline here. We'll get to that as well inside this tutorial. Use the timestamps down below if you want to skip to that part immediately. So once you have some contacts here, you're going to click on one of these contacts. You're going to click on this link here, send an email. And then you see the email address, the default email address that you signed up with ActiveCampaign. So for me, that is this email address. So if you want to connect a new email address, you need to click this button here, and then a new window will pop up. And now you need to select the email address you want to add for the deals feature as well. So I'm going to click on login. So then you need to select your email provider. If you use a different provider, you can select the thing at the bottom here. So if you want to use your own domain name email address here as well, and I definitely suggest you do that, obviously, for the deals feature inside ActiveCampaign, then you need to select your email provider and connect it that way as well. So you're connected with your domain name here as well. But that's all for adding your domain name email address. Let's continue with how to import contacts. So in this lesson, I'm going to show you how to add new contacts to your ActiveCampaign account. This is my contacts tab over here. So if you click on this icon over here, this is the contact tab. And after you click on this tab over here, you get this page. So if you want to add new contacts to your account, so let's say you have a list. For example, I created a list over here, so a spreadsheet with in one column I have the name, and in the other column I have the email address. You can have numerous columns, by the way, so if you have more information about your contacts, you can add just new columns. And let's say if you want to add this specific spreadsheet, I'm going to click on File, I'm going to go to Download, and then I'm going to download it as a CSV file. So I'm going to click on that. Then I'm going to click on the Import button. Then I'm going to click on Import from File, and then I'm going to upload that file I just downloaded. So over here you can see the columns I have in my spreadsheet. So as you can see, this is the name part, and then I need to connect it with the field inside ActiveCampaign. So in this case, they already connected the name part with the first name field, which is correct, and they already connected the email address field to the email address field. So that is correct as well. So if you have custom fields, so if you added custom fields to your ActiveCampaign accounts, then you connect them here as well. So if you have other fields inside your CSV file that you have not added inside your ActiveCampaign account, you can just add a new field over here. So it can either be a text input or some of these other options. So in this case, I'm going to leave it at email address. Then the next thing is you need to select a list, or in other words, you have the option to select a list where you want to add these new contacts to. So if you didn't create a list yet for these contacts, you need to do that first, because as you can see over here, you cannot create a new list as I just did over here with adding a new field. So this is a little bit annoying maybe, because it would be nice to, if you are importing new contacts to your account, that you can create a new list if you want to. So let's say this CSV file you're just trying to import is a list of your active customers, but you haven't created a list yet that is called active customers. So then you need to click on a list over here. So you probably need to do that import again after creating that list. So you're gonna click on add a list. You're gonna give that list a name. So active customers. So I wasn't really sure what this list URL is, so I just did a quick Google search over here. So what is the list URL in ActiveCampaign? So the list URL would just be the website domain. So I'm not sure how it is used, but you probably just need to upload or you just need to add your own domain name over here. And if you don't have a domain name, maybe you can just add your social media URL over here. So I'm not sure what they do with this list URL, but just add one of your URLs, whether it is a social media URL or your own domain name URL. So then the list description, and here it says remind your contacts why they are on this list. This will be viewable in emails sent to this list when using the sender list reminder personalization tag. So and after you've created this description, list URL, and the name, you're going to click on add, and you have created that new list. So for example, if I open my active customers description over here, if I click on edit, here it says list name active customers, so my website, list description, you're receiving these emails because you are subscribed to our customers newsletter. So for example, the leads description, so the potential customers list, if I click on edit over here, I created a list description which says you are receiving these emails because you are subscribed to our newsletter. So just keep in mind that it would be a little bit strange if you use the leads name somewhere in the list description. So for example, you are receiving these emails because you are subscribed to our leads or potential customer list. That's a little bit weird, right? So I'm just gonna call it you're subscribed to our newsletter. Just keep that in mind that if you use the personalization tag for that list description, that will be publicly available to the subscribers of that list. So anyhow, if you want to import, so let's say contacts to the active customer list, you can also do that over here. So you're gonna click on import contacts. But if you prefer to do that the other way that we did in the beginning, you're gonna click on contacts over here, and then you're gonna click on import contacts, import from a file. I'm gonna upload that file again. So we're gonna double check if the name and the email address, so the columns that I have in my CSV file, are properly connected to the fields inside ActiveCampaign. Then I'm going to select a list I want to import the contacts to. You can select multiple lists if you want. But then over here we have the option to add tags, and we'll get to segmenting your audience in the next lesson. So if you want to use the timestamps down below to skip to that part already, you can do so. So there we're going to talk about segmenting your audience. But anyway, just a sneak preview. So let's say, for example, if this CSV file list is maybe an export from your previous email marketing tool. So let's say you previously came from MailChimp, for example, and you just want to tag all the contacts you are importing from MailChimp into ActiveCampaign. So then you can add a tag for, let's say, MailChimp. Then you will know in the future if you came across one of these contacts and you just want to recall like where did the contact came from. You know, because you added that tag, that contact came from your MailChimp list. Then lastly, we have the import option over here. So I think this can be a handy tool if you have duplicates in your list and they will just be updated with the newest information. So I'm going to click on import now. Just keep in mind the bigger your list, obviously, the longer this will take. So this only took like 3 seconds to import 4 or 5 contacts. So now if we go back to contacts, we have these contacts added to my list. The thing is, I already added these contacts, so they were already in my list. So they would now be updated with that MailChimp tag because I didn't add that MailChimp tag in the beginning. So if I open this contact, for example, over here, now you can see the MailChimp tag is added. So as you can see, imported into the list, import a few seconds ago. That's another cool thing over here. As you can see all the recent activities. So I also use the deal feature over here. So ActiveCampaign has a deal feature. I'll quickly show you that. So this is the deal feature. We'll get to this as well into this tutorial. But it's the cool thing about ActiveCampaign. Like you have an overview if you open one of the contacts of all the activity that is going on with that specific contact. You can see what kind of list they are in, what emails you have sent to that specific customer or contact. I mean, you can see if there are any tasks related to this specific contact. So for example, if I open this contact over here, I think I have a task. So in 6 days, I need to email her again if there is no reply, for example. Just so you know, we'll get to that CRM and pipeline and deal stuff later on in this tutorial. So if you want to skip to that part already, you can just use the timestamps down below in the description. But it's just so you know, that is a nice little overview of everything that's going on with a contact. So this is one way of adding new contacts into your account of ActiveCampaign. You can also add manual contacts, obviously, but I don't think many people will do that. Then another way to add new contacts is obviously through sign-up forms, landing pages, what we'll get to as well inside this tutorial. So if you click on this side icon over here, you get to so you can create landing pages, you can create the forms. So we get to all of this great stuff later on in the tutorial. So this is another way, obviously, to add new contacts into your account, and this will be done automatically, obviously. You know, if there is someone signing up through your sign-up form, will be a new contact added to your account. So then another way to add new contacts to your ActiveCampaign account, if you click this deal icon over here. So this is the pipeline you can create inside ActiveCampaign, and we'll get to that. I'll explain how this works later on in the tutorial. But these are just the deals you created, and you can add contacts to those deals. If this sounds really confusing to you, don't pay too much attention to this. I'll give you just a quick overview of how to add a new contact to the deal over here. So let's say you need to add a deal title over here. So I'm gonna say test, and then here you can see you need to add a name or email or phone number to the for this specific contact that is connected to this deal. So I just added an email address over here of one of my domain names. Then this new field pops up, so the contact name. So I'm just gonna give this contact the name Robin K, and here it says this contact will be created once the deal is saved. So I'm gonna click on add deal, and as you can see right now, if we go back to contacts, and then over here, as you can see, this new contact is added to this specific ActiveCampaign account. So if we open this specific contact, as you can see over here, there is no tags, there is no list added. So this person is not really subscribed to your email list. This contact is only added to your deal feature. So as you can see over here, all deals. So this one is added to this specific deal for this specific pipeline that we created. So here we can go back to that specific deal, and as you can see here, you can see every note that is available for this specific deal that is connected to that contact. But again, if you are like, what the hell is he talking about with this pipeline stuff and this deal stuff? I don't get anything what he just said. Don't pay too much attention to it. I just wanted to show you that this is another way of adding contacts to your ActiveCampaign account. We'll get to the deal stuff and the pipeline stuff later on in the tutorial. But if you want to skip to that part immediately, you can do so by just using the timestamps down below in the description. So in this lesson, we're going to talk about how to segment your audience or your contacts in ActiveCampaign. So ActiveCampaign offers you two ways of segmenting your audience. So you can use tags and lists, or you can use both. So if you're gonna go to lists over here, you can just manage your lists. So you can add new lists, you can add as many lists as you want. And then if you're gonna click on contacts and then manage tags, you can see an overview of all the tags you currently have active inside your ActiveCampaign account. You can also see how many contacts are added to that specific tag, and you can have unlimited tags here as well. So maybe if you have a really big list of tags, maybe you should narrow it down a little bit so you can see whether or not there are contacts added to those specific tags, and if there are no contacts added to those tags, maybe it is time to delete some tags, because you do not want to have thousands of tags, obviously, and also not hundreds of tags. And this is the first step on where to find the list, where to find the tags. You can use the tags feature and the list feature in many other ways inside the automations, for example. So in the automations tab, and we'll get to that as well inside this tutorial. But this is just a quick sneak preview of where you can find the tags and how you can use them. But we'll get to that the other parts as well. So for example, if you want to create a newsletter, you can also segment on tags or segment on lists, and we'll get to that as well. But this is just the first overview of where you can find the tags. So inside contacts, manage tags, and the lists, you can find that over there. And do note, there is no real advantage to using either tags or lists, or using both tags and lists. So it all comes down to your preference. So you can use tags, you can use lists, or you can use both. And this is what you need to keep in mind about using ActiveCampaign's software. There will often be numerous ways in its software to accomplish your goals. And in most cases, there isn't a right or wrong. And just to give you another example over here, so the first example was that there are numerous ways to accomplish your goal inside ActiveCampaign. So the first example is segmentation, obviously. So if you can use lists or you can use tags. So if you ask ActiveCampaign support, for example, which one you should use, I did it, and they just tell you that you can use either one of those or both. There's no general advice for how to segment your audience. It all comes down to what you prefer. And the same thing goes for the feature ActiveCampaign offers us, manage scoring. You can add a scoring for any of your contacts, so that you can find out who of your contacts are the most engaged with your newsletters, with your automations and stuff like that, or your opt-in forms, your landing pages, so you know what contacts are the most engaged with all the stuff you're doing. So for example, as you can see, manage scoring. So if you're going to go to contacts, then you're going to click on manage scoring, then you're going to click on add a score. So you can say, if I click on contact score, and if I click on add a new rule over here, then if I click this first field over here, you see the most popular conditions. So for example, if a contact has opened any campaign or email, I want to give that specific contact a point. So if I click on save over here, you can see over here, so if a contact matches, so has opened any campaign, You can select this add 10 points. You can change this for example, that's 1 point or 20 points. It doesn't really matter. Like you have some kind of algorithm you created, you know, like if someone opened an email or if someone opts in to a specific sign up form, you want to add some points. So you know who are the most engaged contacts in your list. So, but this is one way of adding those points to contacts when they open an email. But there is also another way to accomplish this same thing. So to add points to a contact when he or she opens one of our emails. So this is a new tab that I opened, and as you can see, this is an automation. So I added this automation inside ActiveCampaign, and as you can see, this thing does the same thing as this rule over here inside Manage Scoring. So this automation does the following. So this automation starts when contacts reads any email, or in other words, when he or she opens one of our emails. So then the next step is 1 point will be added to the contact, as you can see over here, and I can change this here as well, same as what I do over here. I can change it here as well. Then expires in 1 month. I can change this here as well. Expires in 1 month, for example, in 1 month. So similar to that automation. I'm going to click on save here as well. And then this automation ends. So this automation does the same thing as this. So this is just to show you that there are numerous ways of accomplishing the same goal inside ActiveCampaign. And I must say that I'm not a big fan of adding numerous ways of accomplishing the same goal. So my preference would be actually that ActiveCampaign shows us the best way of doing stuff, and then we just do it that way, right? Because now it takes more time from me, for example, that I need to figure out which way should I go, right? Should I use this path for adding scores to our contacts, or should I use the automation? But yeah, maybe that's just a personal preference. Maybe you like it this way, that you have numerous ways of accomplishing that goal. But yeah, my preference would be that there's just one way, and that one way is the best way. So the most efficient way of accomplishing that goal. But let's come back to the segmentation part, because we're going way too deep on this stuff. So for those who aren't familiar with segmentation, we want to segment our contacts to send more relevant emails, right? So that's the goal of segmentation. We want to send more relevant emails to everyone on our list. So the goal of more relevant emails is obviously more opens, more clicks in the links inside your emails. So that will result hopefully in more sales inside your business. So a few examples of segmentations are creating segments for past customers. So what I did over here, so as you can see over here, I created a list of past customers, current customers, so active customers, and leads or potential customers. So I created a list of leads as well, as you can see. So another example is that you might have an audience that prefers weekly emails over monthly emails, or the other way around. So you create 2 different lists or tags for monthly emails and weekly emails. So another example is contacts in your list that attended your webinar and those that haven't. So maybe you want to send a specific email to the ones that attended your webinar. Or if you have a software company, you might want to segment your audience based on their subscription. So for example, maybe you want to create a segment of those on a trial account, those on a monthly paid subscription, and those on an annual paid subscription. So every business has its own way of segmenting its contacts, and so does yours probably. So the more complex your business gets, meaning the more services or products you offer, the more segments you might want to add. And as said before, you can use lists and tags to segment your audience. And how you choose to segment is totally up to you. But there is one thing to keep in mind when working with lists as segments. So I created this example newsletter, and I'm gonna explain this in a little bit. But the what you need to keep in mind is that people can unsubscribe from one list and still be subscribed to another. So for example, your subscribers might think they're unsubscribing from all communication from your company when they click, for example, this specific link. So this is a newsletter, an example newsletter that I created inside ActiveCampaign, so just the default newsletter. And as you can see over here, there's this unsubscribe button. So if you send this specific newsletter to one of your lists inside ActiveCampaign and they click this unsubscribe button, they will only be unsubscribed from that specific list. So let's say, for example, this newsletter is sent to the active customer list, and one of those contacts is also on another list of inside your ActiveCampaign account. So if they are on that other list, a fact that contact may not be aware of, since the list data displays only internally for you, they still will receive messages you send to those other lists. You get it, right? So that increases the chance that they report you as spam, because they think they unsubscribed from all your emails, but in reality they are still on those other lists. So which can hurt your deliverability because they might report you as spam because they thought they unsubscribed from all of your communication, all of your emails, but in reality they still get your messages. So there are two solutions to this issue, to overcome this issue. So the first solution is to only use one list, right? So if you have only one list, then if people click that unsubscribe button, they will be unsubscribed from that one list and they won't receive any more of your emails. So if you only use one list, then you use the tags to segment your audience. So this might not be the most user-friendly solution because list is a pretty handy feature inside ActiveCampaign. So the other solution is my preference, to be honest. So the second solution is to change the footer of the email you sent. And I changed the footer over here. So this is a newsletter that I created inside ActiveCampaign as well. So this is the custom footer that I created. And in this footer, I explain that they can click a specific link if they want to unsubscribe from specific emails. But if they wish to unsubscribe from all communication with me, then they need to click a different link. So as you can see over here, it says click here to unsubscribe from emails related to X. So in this case, affiliates. So let's say this newsletter list, let's say this newsletter has been sent to the list of affiliates. Then if this specific contact want to unsubscribe from future affiliate emails, they can click this first link over here. So then they will be unsubscribed from affiliate emails. But if they want to unsubscribe from all emails, as you can see over here, then they need to click the bottom link. Click here to unsubscribe from all emails. So the idea here is that you make it clear to them that unsubscribing from just one list doesn't result in being unsubscribed from all lists. And if you want to create such a custom footer, we'll get to that in the newsletter part as well, but I'll just show you quickly how to do that. So what you do is you're gonna grab this text block over here and you're gonna drag it onto the template. Sometimes it doesn't work, so I'm not sure why it doesn't work. So now it did work. After you've dragged that text block onto your template, you're gonna select it, and then you're gonna click on personalize, and then here you're gonna go to message, and then here you see the unsubscribe link. So you're gonna click on the unsubscribe link. So for example, click here to unsubscribe for emails related to our new YouTube videos. I'm gonna click on OK. I'm gonna put this in the middle, so align sender. So I can use some padding over here if I want to increase, as you can see over here, the padding. Then the next thing is we're gonna copy this one over here, so this text part over here. So I'm gonna click on this icon over here, this gear icon, and then I'm gonna say duplicate this content block. I'm gonna select it, and I'm gonna delete this, and I'm gonna click on personalize again. Then I'm gonna click on message, and then I'm gonna either select list sender info single line or list sender info multiple line. So these two are required. So you need to have the unsubscribe link in the footer and the list sender info. So I'm gonna click the list sender info single line, and as you can see, this footer that was just here, it just disappeared. So that is because we now created a custom footer ourselves, and we need to add these specific things. So the unsubscribe link and the sender info single line or the multiple lines. So if you add those two things are required. If you add those two things to your newsletter templates, then the default footer of ActiveCampaign will disappear, and you can use your own footer. So as you can see over here, so click here to unsubscribe for emails related to our new YouTube videos. But you also want to add that unsubscribe link for all emails, right? So you're gonna duplicate this one as well. So duplicate this content block, and then you're gonna delete this text. You're gonna click on personalize again. You're gonna go to message, and then here it says unsubscribe link all lists. So then you need to enter a text for this link again. So click here to unsubscribe all emails. I'm gonna click on OK. So now it is pretty clear, right? So if people see this, they either click this link to unsubscribe for only YouTube video newsletters, or they can unsubscribe from all emails, right? So this is what I did over here. So my suggestion for segmenting your contacts inside ActiveCampaign is to use the list feature for the overall segmentation. So for example, suppose you have a group of current customers, as I explained before, current customers, past customers, and leads. In that case, you should use the list feature to segment these groups. But then in what cases should you use tags? So as explained earlier, you can use tags, for example, to add a tag when you import new contacts. So let's say they came from MailChimp, you're gonna add a tag that says MailChimp. So that is just one example. So then there are numerous other ways to use tags that I won't cover in this tutorial because it makes things more complicated than needed, in my opinion. And I do want to show you this page of ActiveCampaign. So this is what are the tags page inside ActiveCampaign. And what they say over here is, to achieve your desired results, we recommend that you do not go tag crazy. So if you create tags for every single piece of information, your data will become too noisy. So in my opinion, maybe the best thing you can do first is just use lists alone for the primary segments of your contacts and go from there. So once you get more familiar with the software of ActiveCampaign, you can start using the tags if you find the need for it, but don't go tag crazy. So in this lesson, I'll show you how you can create and send a newsletter with ActiveCampaign, and I'll give you a glimpse of how the editor works. So this is the editor of ActiveCampaign. I'll also show you how you can send a newsletter to a particular segment of your audience and all that great stuff and more. So I created this newsletter you can see over here. I started with a blank template and I just added all these things. So this is a text elements, my logo. So this is an image I added to the top of the newsletter. I added an image over here, some text, some bold text over here. I added a new image here and with some text to the right side. Then I added a headline over here, some other text, and then this footer. So in this footer, we have this text element, another text element, and we have this social icons element. Then I created a custom footer. I also showed you how to create this custom footer back in a previous lesson, in the segment lesson, if I recall that correctly. So in that lesson, in the segmentation lesson of this tutorial, you can use the timestamps below in the description. In that lesson, I explained why I have 2 different unsubscribe links inside my newsletters. And that's because I use lists for segmenting my audience. And if you only use one unsubscribe link in your newsletter, that means that if you send a newsletter to a particular list of your ActiveCampaign accounts, if they click that unsubscribe button from that specific newsletter, just a normal default unsubscribe link, they will only be unsubscribed from that specific list. And if you have that specific contact in different lists, they can still receive your emails because they are in the other list as well, right? So therefore, I added 2 different unsubscribe links. So as you can see, this unsubscribe link says click here to unsubscribe from emails related to affiliates. So for example, this newsletter will be sent to our affiliates, right? So if they don't want to receive those emails anymore, they can click this unsubscribe link. But if they do not want to receive any more emails from us, they need to click this link. So click here to unsubscribe from all emails. And the reason you want to do it like this, because if people think they unsubscribe from your complete newsletter and they still receive newsletters from you because they are on other lists as well, it is a little bit annoying, and they think that you're just spamming them because they cannot unsubscribe from your newsletter, and therefore you get a higher spam score, which will hurt the deliverability of your other emails as well, and that is obviously what you want to avoid. So again, I'm not going to show you how to do this again here, so please go back to the previous lesson in the segmentation part. Let's go over the various options you have when creating a newsletter. So if you're going to click on campaigns over here, that is what you want to do. If you want to create a newsletter, you're going to click on campaigns, and then you're going to click on create a campaign at the top right corner over here. So after you click that button at the top right corner, you'll see this page over here, campaign name. So over here you have the campaign type, and for this specific example, we're just going to use the standard one. So that is the one you will choose if you just want to send out a regular newsletter. So I'm going to select the standard one. As you can see, this one is selected. I'm going to click on next. So the next step is to select your list. So if you have just one master list and you want to segment by tags, you're going to select that list and you're going to click on segment selected list. And over here, you can create a segment with tags. But in my example, and I will suggest you do that as well, you're gonna make the overall segmentation, so the upper segmentation layer in your account with lists. So segmenting your contacts with lists is a little bit more convenient in my experience than working with the segmentation parts with the tags. So let's say we want to send a newsletter to our active customers. So I'm going to select that list. You can select multiple lists, by the way, but in this case, we're just going to select one list, active customer. I do not want to create another segment. So I'm just going to select active customer. I'm going to select on next. So here we have 3 options. I suggest you use the classic one. If you use the text only one, you get this warning that text only campaigns cannot use open tracking. Well, we obviously do want to see how many people are opening our emails, so I will always suggest you use the classic version over here. As you can see, there are lots of templates, so you can get some inspiration by checking them out. You can click on preview if you want. So these are the designed templates. You can also select the basic templates. So for example, if you just prefer one single image at the top, for example, you can select this one. So if you prefer to have an email with text only, for example, so this is a a pretty straightforward email, a text-only email. But if you want to add some images, you can get some examples here as well. So another option is to start from scratch, and design from a blank canvas. So I'm gonna choose that option. I'm going to select on Start from Scratch to show you how the editor works. So you're going to fill in the from name, the from email address, and the subject line. Then I'm going to click on Continue. And you can always change these things later, by the way. Just select this gear icon over here. Over here, you can change the subject line again. You can change the from name, the reply, email. Furthermore, over here, you can select the desktop preview. So if you select that button, you can see how your campaign will look on mobile as well. And if you select the gear icon again, you can also send a test email over here. And I will always suggest you do that, obviously, before sending your campaign. You're going to send that test email to your own email address to test how it looks. Then we have the white here as well. So for example, we have some things here in the top menu bar, and one of these things is the white, and I suggest you keep this at 650. So I suggest you don't play with this, because this 650 is based upon mobile screens as well. So if you make this to 1000, for example, there is a chance that your email won't look that great on mobile phones. So I suggest you just keep this at 650. One of the other things over here, you can change the link color. So if you want your links to be a different color, you can change the default color as well. You can also change the link color here as well by just changing the font color. So I will show you a couple of things. So a text-only email is pretty straightforward, right? You can just delete the images. So when creating a newsletter, I'll show you a couple of things. So with the newsletter that I created over here, for example, the logo is pretty straightforward, right? You're just gonna insert a new image over here, or you can change this image. Just click the image icon and change the image. You're gonna select the image over here. You can change it like this. So if you want, if you click this image icon and you go to options, here you see some other options here as well. So you can you can add a link to it as well. So I didn't do that, but you can do that if you want. So if we go to the email newsletter that I created, as you can see, we have some text over here and we have an image. So just some quick things over here. If you want to add an image next to your text, as what I did over here, you're just gonna drag a block of an image block, and you're gonna drag it next to your text over here, as you can see. So you make sure you have it like this and not like this, because now it will add. As you can see, now it will be added next to the logo as well. So I'm gonna click the undo button over here. I'm gonna drag that image again, and I'm gonna drag it next to the text, as you can see. So now it's next to the text. I'm gonna make this logo smaller again. I'm gonna change this image. I'm gonna select this image. You can make it smaller, as you can see. And if you want to add a background like I did over here, you're going to use the column, as you can see over here. So I'm going to copy this color code. I'm going to go back to my email, and then I'm going to select the column background, and then I'm going to paste that color code in here. I'm going to do that as well with this column. And now, as you can see, the blue background perfectly aligns with the other column here as well. So as you can see over here, you can also change the background from this block. And you do not want to do that, because then we only change the background from the image. So if you make the image smaller, for example, your background doesn't align perfectly with the other column as well here. So make sure if you want to change the color, as what I did over here, make sure to use the column backgrounds and do it here as well. Then over here, we can see that this text is a little bit bigger. It is a different color, and it is more in the middle, same as with the image over here. It is nicely in the middle, and not like this and like this image over here at the left side. So what I did over here is just I'm going to click on the image. I'm going to align it to the center, and then if you want to have more space around the image, you can either make it smaller, obviously, but you can also add some padding around it. You're just going to increase this. So let's say 20. You can also change it like this, 20. And you can do so the same with the text. As you can see with this newsletter, the padding around the text is 29. So if you want to change the padding, for example, from the left a little bit different than from the right, instead of using all sides, you're going to click on custom. So now, as you can see, everything is 29. But if you want to change it like a little bit different, like, for example, if I want to top only 1, then I can do so over here, as you can see. But this is how you change the padding around the text. So the rest is pretty straightforward. This is a text element. You can just grab it over here. You're gonna paste it onto your newsletter template. Same here with the image as what I did over here. Then we have some another text element over here is just a bigger font size. It's a bold size. And then lastly, we have the footer. And as I previously mentioned, I use 2 unsubscribe links. So let's say we want to send this specific newsletter. We're going to click on next over here. So here we can see the campaign summary. So we see the subject, the pre-header text. If you want to edit, you can do so over here. We can see the from name, the reply, to email address, the list. So what kind of list we want to send this newsletter to. Then we have the address, so that is below the email newsletter. So then we have some options over here. The open and read tracking, so you should have that one on. You can have the link tracking, you should have that one on as well, so we can see whether people are clicking on our links. So here we have the Google Analytics option. I enabled this one as well. If you click on customize, you can change the Google Analytics campaign name, and that is how it will look inside your Google Analytics. So if you are familiar with Google Analytics, and there you can filter with the source medium inside your Google Analytics to filter this specific traffic. And here we can either schedule it, or we can send it immediately. And if you want to send the email right now, you're going to click on send now. And if you want to schedule your email, you can do so over here. So I'm going to click on send now. Your campaign is ready to send. And then one more button, send campaign now. And once you click that button, your campaign will be sent out. As you can see, preparing to send. And now you can see the report of that specific email. So for example, I've sent this. I'm going to click on view report. And here over here, you can see the opens. So this one is sent to one contact. I opened that email, so it is 100% open rate. It was a really good email. There we can see the click rate as well. So there were no links in that email. So that's why it's not tracked. We can see the unsubscribe rate. So 100% I unsubscribed with this specific email. We can see the bounces. So that's it basically for creating and sending a newsletter. Now let's continue with the next lesson, which is creating a sign up newsletter widget for your website with ActiveCampaign. So in this lesson, I'm going to show you how to create a sign up newsletter widget for your website. So many websites show a newsletter feature in their sidebar of blogs or in their footer. So as you can see over here, so this is a widget on this blog, on this example blog. You see this is a widget of ActiveCampaign. You can also have this inline form that you can add this form inside your blogs. But you can also add a widget like this inside your footer. So in this lesson, I'll show you how to do that. So to create a form with ActiveCampaign, you're going to go to Site over here, and then you're going to click on Forms. As you can see, I have two forms that I created. So this is the form that you saw in the widgets, and it is the same form. So this is the same form as well. So you can use it as an inline form as well inside your blogs. And this one is the same as well. So all three are this form that I created inside ActiveCampaign. So it's a really basic form. I didn't change that much about this form. Do note that if you want to remove that branding from forms, you need to have the plus plan of ActiveCampaign. So the Light plan doesn't allow you to remove the logo from your forms. So if I create a form with ActiveCampaign, I'm gonna go to Site again, Forms. I'm gonna click on Create a Form. So then you have 4 options. So this form that I created is the inline form. But the inline form will be shown always. Instead of these 3 will be shown with a timer, for example. So the major difference between the inline form and the other 3 forms is that you cannot create a timer, you cannot add a timer to the inline form, which you can do with the floating bar, floating box, and the model form. So there you can add a timer. So it is basically a pop-up. You can compare it with a pop-up that will pop up after a couple of seconds when landing on a specific website page. So in this case, we're gonna select the inline form. So then the next action we have either we can add a tag, or we can subscribe to a list or add a deal. So in this example, we're gonna say subscribe to a list. And the most logical list name for a form like this, subscribe to the newsletter, would be like the monthly newsletter list, for example. If you don't have created that list yet, you need to do that first, or you need to edit this form later. So in this example, I'm just gonna say leads. I'm gonna click on create. So this is the basic form. So it looks pretty similar to this form. So I didn't change that much about it, as you can see. But what I did change is the options part over here. So here you can say whether you want to show a thank you message. So thanks for signing up, for example, or you can open a URL. So if you want to use the thank you page to the fullest extent, obviously you want to use a URL then. So if you have lots of different products or services to sell, you can use that URL, a thank you page, for showing those services maybe with a discount. Or maybe if you're really active on social media channels, you can use that thank you page to let your new subscriber know that you're active on those social media channels, so they can follow you there as well, besides subscribing to your newsletter. But then again, the default thank you message is thanks for signing up. So I changed the message to important, within 20 seconds you'll receive an email. You need to confirm your email address before I can add you to our newsletter. Please also check your spam and promotions folder if you don't see the email. So the only reason why you will want to use this thank you message if you use the double opt-in feature. So a double opt-in feature is basically when someone subscribes to this specific form, he or she will receive an email that says, please confirm your email address by clicking this button or this link. And when they do click that link, they are confirmed as a new subscriber to the newsletter. So that is what I'm saying actually over here. So for example, if you want to distribute a free download, so let's say if this inline form says download our newest ebook for free, just fill in your name and email address. You could change this message to, for example, in that email, you find the free download you just requested. So this is what we will discuss as well in this tutorial, so how to create a freebie basically with a landing page and an automation, all that great stuff. So use the timestamps down below in the description if you want to skip to that part where I'll show you how to deliver a free ebook, for example. But anyhow, let's not get too far ahead. Let's stay with this for a bit. So I changed the message to this. So instead of having this message, thanks for signing up, I changed it to this, so to make sure they check their email and they know what they need to do in order to be a new subscriber on my newsletter. Then the next thing that I changed about this inline form is the following. So I went to this specific part of the form and I clicked on this gear icon. What I changed over here, so this one is enabled, but I think that one is enabled on default. Then the next thing is the opt-in email. So I'm gonna click on edit over here. So this is the email that I created for the confirmation email. So after clicking the confirm my subscription button, so this button over here, you will be our new subscriber. To confirm that you wish to be subscribed, please click the link below. So if people click this link, they will be subscribed. So if I click this gear icon over here, you can see the subject line. You need to keep in mind that the default subject line, so if I open this inline form, so if we go to the gear icon here again and we click on edit, so this is the default confirmation email. If you click on this gear icon over here, and similar to this here, thank you for subscribing to, and then the list name. So this will be the list name, so how your list is called inside ActiveCampaign. So if your list is called, for example, leads, it is a little bit weird. So if you name your list leads, which is totally fine for you, but it is a little bit strange if people see that line, thank you for subscribing to leads. So I suggest you delete that part then and just say thank you for subscribing to our newsletter. As you can see, that is the same thing what I did with this confirmation email. So it is similar to the subject line. So if we click the gear icon, here it says, please confirm your subscription to list name. So obviously you do not want to have a weird list name. For example, potential clients, you know, that is a little bit weird if you need to subscribe to a newsletter that says potential clients. Just make sure you keep that in mind when changing and editing the subject line and all that stuff inside the confirmation email. So if we go to my confirmation email here, if I click the gear icon, I would definitely delete this part because the list name is leads. So please confirm your subscription to our newsletter. That's way better, obviously. So the rest of it is pretty fine. So I'm going to click on close. And that's it for changing the confirmation email. I'm going to click on done for now because this newsletter confirmation email is done. So the next thing is I'm going to click on integrate. So here you can see the code. If you want to use this code to add it to your website, you can also have a link. So if you want to just send people to this specific link, you can do that as well. As you can see, if I open that link, you'll see this form. But you also have the WordPress plugin, and this is what I use. So I downloaded this plugin and I installed it on my website, and I just added that specific widget to my sidebar. So it's pretty straightforward. So just to show you how it works, if you go to settings inside WordPress, you have this ActiveCampaign plugin. So over here, you need to add your API URL and your API key. And if you scroll down a little bit here, you can see the forms that you created. So you can just copy the shortcode. So that is what I did for this specific widget newsletter form. So I copied the shortcode, and as you can see, if I just now paste it over here, so this is the shortcode that I just copied, and I just pasted that shortcode into appearance and then widgets, the main sidebar. So that is the main sidebar of that I added to this specific blog post, and here I just added that specific form code. So it's easy as that. And then the form will appear. And just to let you know how to find that API key, you need to paste inside that plugin. You're going to click on settings, and then you're going to go to the developer tab over here. And then on this page, you will see your API key, which you can just copy and paste inside the plugin. that I just showed you. And one more thing, if you just want to add that inline form to your WordPress sites, you can just select the form you want to add to this specific blog post. So let's say I want to add this form. Now, as you can see, the form is added. Easy as that. And after you've done all that, you want to make sure your form works. So you can test your form by just using this link before adding it to your website. You're just gonna test your form, you're gonna paste your name and email address in it, and just to make sure it works as it should work. So now we're done with the forms. Let's continue with the next lesson, which is how to use automations inside ActiveCampaign. So in this lesson, I will show you how to give away something for free, like an ebook, for example, with ActiveCampaign. So this lesson will also show you how to create a landing page or a sign-up form and set up an automated welcome email to deliver that freebie, so that free ebook you want to send to your new subscriber. So just to give you an immediate overview of what I did, so I created this landing page with ActiveCampaign, and because I'm on a trial account, I cannot use a custom URL here. Also, if you're on the light plan, you cannot change the URL to your own custom domain. Only if you're on the plus plan or above, you can add a custom domain for your landing pages inside ActiveCampaign. But anyhow, this is the landing page that I created. So how to get to 50 daily newsletter signups. So this is the free ebook. And over here we have the form where people can fill in their name and email address. So this form I created separately. So you need to go to forms, what we just did in the previous lesson. And there I created this form and added that form to this specific landing page. And I'll show you in a bit how it works. So when people enter their name and email address over here, so name and email address, and click on the button download free ebook, then they will see this thank you message. So within 60 seconds, you'll receive an email, and in that email, you'll find the free download you just requested. So as you can see, this is a different thank you message than in the previous lesson where we added a thank you message for the people that were trying to sign up through our newsletter sign up form, right? So there we just say, you need to confirm your email address in order to be on our newsletter. Now they want to download a free ebook, so we need to adjust the message. So we changed this message to this, and then the next thing we changed was the confirmation email, obviously. So if we click on edit over here, so this is the confirmation email. Thank you for contacting us. You or someone has requested our free ebook on, and then the date when the request has been made, using the email address and then the email address of this particular user. If you believe that this is a mistake, blah, 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 blah. And then over here, after clicking the confirm my subscription button below, the free ebook download will start automatically. By clicking the confirmation button, you're subscribed to our newsletter. And if you want to stay in touch after you download my free checklist, you can stay subscribed to the newsletter. I have plenty of more tips I will love to send your way. If you only want to receive the free ebook, then no hard feelings. You can unsubscribe from any future emails below every email we send. So by adding these extra lines, we make sure that this new subscriber knows exactly what they're opting in for. So once they click on the button, they know that they are also subscribed to the newsletter, right? And as you can see, I also added the image of the book here. So if we click this button, confirm my subscription, you can see I added a custom URL here. So I added a Google Drive URL. So if people click on this button, confirm my subscription, a download will trigger automatically to download this free ebook. So it is a little bit annoying that you cannot upload your PDF to ActiveCampaign. So some email marketing service providers do offer that option that you can just upload a PDF or an image or whatever you try to distribute to your new subscriber. You can just upload that form or file to the server of the email service provider. But sadly, ActiveCampaign does not offer that option, so we need to host that file somewhere else. So in my case, I use Google Drive for that. And just to make sure you know how this works, so I uploaded my PDF to my Google Drive folder, and I double click on the file, and then I go to the settings. So I'm gonna go to share, and if you scroll down a little bit, here you can see you can click on change, and you need to make sure that anyone with a link can view this file. So you can just double check whether that works if you just open an incognito window. So if I do that right now and I click and I paste that link over here, I should be able to view the file. If I can't view the file right here, it means it is not publicly available. So as you can see, I can open the file right now. If you want, you can also use this link and you can copy and paste that link in that confirmation link for that confirmation button. But what I always do is I try to find the direct download link for this specific file. And how I do that is I Google direct download Google link, Google Drive link, something like that. And then over here we have this first result here. This is the website I always use for this. I'm gonna paste that sharing URL. So this URL, I'm gonna paste it in here, and then I'm gonna click the button create direct link. If you open this specific link in a new window, the download will trigger automatically, as you can see. So if I now click enter, as you can see, the download will trigger automatically. So this is a little bit more convenient for people. So this link over here behind this button is the direct download link for that Google Drive file. So again, if there is an email service provider that offers the option to upload the PDF directly to their service, you're skipping all that stuff with Google Drive. So it's a little bit more convenient, especially for the people that are not that tech savvy and don't really want that hassle of uploading that file to Google Drive itself, right? So as you can see, we received this warning over here: remove the confirmation link, will not allow this email to be sent. So I made a little mistake here. So what we need to do is we need to add this confirm link again to this button. So instead of adding that direct Google Drive download link in here, we need to add it somewhere else. So I'm going to click on done. I'm going to go back to the form, and here I'm going to go to options, and I'm going to click on this gear icon over here. And here it says confirmation action. So here we can either show a message that says, thank you for subscribing, you're subscribed to the newsletter, or we can redirect to a URL. And this is where you want to paste your direct Google Drive download link. So sorry for that little mistake, but this is how you should do it. So just paste it, the direct Google Drive link over here, and then I'm gonna click on save. So after you've saved all of that, I'm gonna click on integrate, and I'm gonna save and exit. So let's test this landing page. I'm gonna fill in my name and email address. And because I'm already subscribed to this ActiveCampaign account, I probably will be redirected automatically in an instant to that ebook. So I'm going to click on download free ebook, and as you can see, the free ebook automatically downloads. And that is because I'm already subscribed to this specific account. So that is pretty neat. So if you're constantly creating new content for your current subscribers as well, they can just download it in an instant instead of going through all that hassle of that confirmation button again. So they can just download it in an instant. So if you want to test it, if you want to test the whole process, the full process, you first need to unsubscribe your email address, or maybe you have multiple email addresses. But if you want to test it with this email address, you need to unsubscribe that email address first. You're going to go to contacts, you're going to select that email address, that contact, and then you're going to say unsubscribe. Here you can see I am subscribed to two lists, so the active customer list and the leads list. So to unsubscribe me from those lists, I need to select it, and then I'm gonna say unsubscribed. I'm gonna select this one as well, unsubscribed, and close. I refresh this page just to make sure I'm unsubscribed to those lists. I'm unsubscribed right now. So if we go back to the landing page, I'm gonna refresh it, and I'm gonna fill in my name and email address, and I'm gonna click on download free ebook. So now, as you can see, I do receive this thank you message. So within 60 seconds, you'll receive an email. In that email, you find the free download you just requested. So I'm going to open my email. As you can see, I just received this email. So instead of having a subject line like confirm your subscription, I changed it to your free download is here. And to change the subject line, you're going to go to your form. You're going to click on this gear icon over here, and you're going to click on edit the opt-in email. You're going to edit the opt-in email. And then over here, we have the gear icon as well. And over here, you can change the subject line of your confirmation email. So I changed it to your free download is here. The pre-added text is confirm your email to download the free ebook. And we have the from name, email address, and the reply to email address. So again, the confirmation email, so your free download is here, 50 daily newsletter signups. Thanks for contacting us. Then we have this text over here. Then we have the image and the confirm my subscription button. So before we're going to click on this button, if we go back to our contact list, so you know what's happening behind the scenes, so you better understand how it works internally. So here you see the lists, and as you can see, I'm unsubscribed from this list, unsubscribed from this list, and I am unconfirmed from this list. So this leads list is the list that is behind this opt-in form. So if we go back to the form, maybe it's a little bit complicated now for you, but it is just follow my lead here. It is pretty easy. So if we go back to this form, so this is the form that is integrated in this landing page. So in this form, as you can see, it is subscribed to a list leads. So once people fill in their name and email address inside this form, he or she will be subscribed to the list leads. So if we go back internally inside ActiveCampaign, here you can see if we click leads, you can see I am unconfirmed via the source 50 daily newsletter signups. That is this form. And I am unconfirmed because I didn't click this button yet. That means that I cannot email this new subscriber yet until he or she clicks the button confirm my subscription, right? And that is the reason why the free ebook is behind that button. If we already sent that free ebook before they click on confirm my subscription, there's no real reason to click confirm my subscription. You get the point, right? I just want to show you a little bit behind the scenes how it works internally inside ActiveCampaign. So I'm going to click on confirm my subscription. And now, as you can see, the download will automatically trigger because we added that the direct Google Drive link behind it, right? So this is the free ebook. So that works perfectly. So now if we refresh this page, you will see that this leads list, I will now be subscribed to that list instead of being unconfirmed. So if I refresh this page, now you can see there is a new icon over here, and now I am subscribed to this page. Now you just know how it works internally inside ActiveCampaign. So this is the landing page behind the scenes. As you can see, it works pretty similar to the editor of the campaign. So you have these blocks over here that you can just drag and drop onto the template. Over here you can change the theme, so you can change the colors, the heading, all that great stuff. So just to show you how it works, if you add a new page, so if you're going to go to this icon over here to site, then pages, so instead of forms, you're going to click on pages, and there you're going to click on add new site, so add new page. And here you can see some different templates, and as you can see, I used one of these templates. So let's see which one did I use. I think it was this one. So if we click preview, you can see I didn't change that much about the template, only some images and the text, obviously. If you want to use this template, you're going to click on use the template. If not, you can go back and choose a different template. If you want, you can also start from scratch from a blank template. It is totally up to you. I'm going to go back to the template that I created. So it is pretty straightforward how this works. So if you're totally new to creating these pages with ActiveCampaign, I suggest you first select one of the templates instead of going immediately for a blank template, just to show you a little bit what can be done and how it works. As you can see, I added this image over here. I changed this text. I added this inline form over here, and I changed the background image of this section. As you can see over here, this is the image of this section. I changed the text here as well. So my suggestion is you just pick one of these templates and click around a little bit just to make sure you get comfortable with using the blocks and changing the text and changing the different images, the colors and all that stuff. One thing I do want to mention about this landing page is that if you want to add a form like this, you're going to use this inline form, and you're going to click on it and you're going to drag it onto the template. And then it says you can use one of these existing inline forms. You can also create a new inline form, and then a new window will pop up where you can create that inline form. You just need to keep in mind that all the text and all the elements on this form, you need to change that inside the editor of the forms. So instead of, we are now in pages, as you can see over here. So if you want to change the design, the font size or the colors, all that stuff, you need to change that inside forms. So if I go to forms real quick, and if I open the 50 daily newsletter signups, as you can see, it looks a little bit weird right now because the background is transparent. This text is white. As you can see, enter your name and email address. So this text is white, but it's all because of this blue background, I chose to use a white color for this text. So that's it basically. If you want to create a landing page, I suggest you use this inline form block over here. So I don't suggest you use this because I'll show you in a bit. If I drag and drop this pages form onto the template, it'll say this tip over here. So this form block is temporary and will soon be retired, so that all forms are created and managed through Forms Builder. So yeah, that's the reason I didn't use this one. Maybe it looks a little bit easier because the form is already built inside the landing page instead of it building it inside the forms builder over here, but that is the reason I use the inline form instead of the pages form. So I'm going to delete this one. We have the pages form and the inline form, and you need to use the inline form. So in this next lesson, I'm going to show you how to start an evergreen newsletter. So in this lesson, I will teach you what an evergreen newsletter is and how to set it up inside ActiveCampaign. So the best way to describe an evergreen newsletter is just to show you. So that is what I will do on my computer screen. So I created this evergreen newsletter. So this is an automation that I created inside ActiveCampaign, and I'll show you in a bit how it all works. But just to give you a quick overview, so I created this evergreen newsletter for everyone, for every single contact that goes through this specific landing page. So for everyone that fills in their name and email address for this specific landing page, I created this automation. So this is the automation I created. So this upper part of the automation is the trigger of this specific automation. So that means the content of this field decides whether this automation starts or not. So if we open this content over here, so if we open this field, it says the following. So when a contact subscribes to a list, so the list is leads, and I'm not sure if you remember, but the form on the landing page, so that is this form, when someone subscribes to that specific form, that subscriber will be added to the list leads. So that's why we select leads over here, because this automation is focused on the subscribers that are coming through this specific landing page. So again, this automation will start when a contact subscribes to the list leads. So I selected multiple times, and I also created a segment over here. So subscribed with subscription form 50 daily newsletter signups. So that is this specific sign up form. So I only want this automation to start if someone subscribed to the list leads and only subscribed through that specific sign up form of the 50 daily newsletter signups. Because maybe I have another landing page with a different opt-in form that also subscribes people to the list leads, but there maybe I do not want to trigger this specific automation. So that's why I added this segment over here. So I'm going to click the button Save Start. So that is the trigger of this specific automation. And for the ones that don't know what an evergreen newsletter is, bear with me for a second. I'll explain the steps inside this automation, and after I've explained the steps inside this automation, you'll understand what an evergreen newsletter is. It is, in my opinion, far easier to just show you than like to describe you what an evergreen newsletter is. So I'm gonna go through the steps of this automation. So there are, besides this action step over here, so what will trigger the automation, there are in total there are 4 different action steps over here. So the gray ones are emails. So there are 3 emails inside this automation, and this action step is an wait period. So after the first email has been sent, so there is a timer over here of 2 days before the next email will be sent. Then there is another timer over here of 1 day before the next email will be sent, right? So we don't send these emails out at once. We're gonna send those out after some days. You can also select a week, you can select a month, whatever you want, obviously. So in this case, I selected 2 days, then the new email, then 1 day, then the new email. So you can see, for example, there are 2 people, so 2 email addresses are in the queue for this specific newsletter. So they already received this newsletter, but they didn't receive this newsletter yet because they need to wait for 2 days, right? So if someone subscribes to this landing page right now, he or she will immediately receive this email, so this first email. But he or she will not receive immediately this email, right? So because this will be triggered in 2 days. And that is the definition of an evergreen newsletter. So you write these newsletters once, and then you drip them out during multiple days or across multiple weeks or months. So for example, for my dog training website, I also created an automation similar to this, and I have multiple newsletters written out, maybe 30 or 40 or something, across I think 6 months or something. So if someone subscribes to my newsletter today, he or she will receive emails from me every single week for the upcoming 6 months or so. So that's the benefit of creating an evergreen newsletter. So you don't have to manually write these newsletters every single week or every single month. You set it up once and then you can forget about it. Obviously, what you can do is you're gonna read the reports of those emails to see whether you can tweak something so you can improve the open rates or click rates or whatever. But it is not mandatory for your newsletters to be sent to check upon them, right? So you can set it up once and then you can basically forget about them. So I will show you the different emails so you get a better understanding of how it works. So again, someone subscribes to this landing page, he or she fills in their name and email address, and then the first email he or she will get is that confirmation email, right? So after someone clicks the confirmation button in the confirmation email, he or she immediately will receive this email. So I'll open this email here. So this email is just to make sure you downloaded the ebook. Click here to download the free ebook 50 daily newsletter sign up. So again, this links to that direct Google Drive link. If you click that link, the download will immediately trigger for that ebook. So if you have any questions about this ebook content, don't hesitate to drop me an email. And then we have the last part of today, and this is really important to pay attention to, and I'll read it to you so you better understand how it works. So if you're serious about growing your email list, please reply to me and tell me what you have created after following the action steps in the above ebook. So here I'm trying to start a dialogue with my new subscriber, right? So they reply to my email address. So then the next thing, in 2 days, I will be back in your email inbox and I will share 15 newsletter content ideas. Sending a weekly newsletter to your email list is essential because it's hard to get it back once you've lost your momentum with your subscribers. See you in 2 days. So here I make sure they understand that I will be back in their inbox within 2 days. And I do this as well with my dog training website. So below every email, I mentioned the next email, right? So they know what to expect. Then if we click on save and exit, just to make sure you understand, if you want to add a new email or a new action, you just click this plus icon over here, and then it says the sending options. So you can click send an email. So you can click that thing, send an email. If I do that, you can click create a new email. Or if you click the plus icon again, you can say conditions and workflow, and here you can add that wait period. So wait for a specific period of time. You can say some hours, minutes, weeks, months. And then if you want to delete something, you can just delete this by clicking the bin icon. So again, there are 2 email addresses in queue for this email. So I'm going to open this email so you get a better understanding of the workflow of this Evergreen newsletter. This is the email. So as promised, I'll share 15 newsletter content ideas in this email. Sending a weekly newsletter is vital to stay relevant with your audience, blah, 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 blah. Then newsletter idea 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, 15 newsletter is the idea to have 15 newsletters inside this email. Then we have the footer. It says, see you tomorrow. Have a sweet rest of your day. And then we added a new wait period again for 1 day. And then there is a new email, how I create an evergreen newsletter and how you can too. So obviously you can go on and on with these emails, right? So you can add as many emails as you want. So as said before, with my dog training website, I have an evergreen newsletter of around 5 to 6 months. So how do you create such an evergreen newsletter? So if we go to a different tab over here, you're going to click on automations, so this gear icon over here. And then the cool thing about ActiveCampaign is that they have a lot of recipes. So they call it recipes. It is basically some templates you can use for automations. So for example, we have the 7-day drip series. Deliver a series of messages over the course of 7 days. So that's basically pretty similar to my evergreen newsletter that I just created. If you click the get started button, for example, you can just use one of those recipes. So I'm going to click get started, and I'm going to click get started here again. So here we need to select a list for the trigger. So I'm going to select leads, for example. I just want to show you how this automation works. So as you can see, this is pretty similar to that evergreen newsletter that I just showed you. Here we have the emails as well, the wait periods, and then at the end we have the end this automation. But in this case, I'm going to go back and I'm going to show you how to create that evergreen newsletter that I just created from scratch. So I'm going to click on create an automation. Here we have all the recipes they have. So as you can see, if you're looking for inspiration for any of your automations, you can search here. You can use these categories over here. So we have the industry. We have different languages here as well. And if you want to start from scratch, so that's what I did with that Evergreen newsletter. You're going to select this upper one and then you're going to click on continue. So then the first thing, we need to select a trigger. So in this case, I added the trigger when a contact subscribes to the list leads. So subscribes to a list. That is the trigger that I added to my automation. So if you click back, you can also select a different trigger. For example, submits a form or open reads an email. So there are many different ways to automate stuff inside ActiveCampaign. So this is one of the pros of ActiveCampaign, that they have a lot of automation features inside their software. But in this case, I'm just going to select subscribes to a list. I'm going to select the list. I'm going to select leads as what I did before, right? In this case, I'm just going to keep the rest as default. I'm going to click on start. Then in my case, the first thing that I added, the first action step was I added an email. So you do not have any emails to send. You can create an email. So I'm not going to go through every single step of creating this automation. You get the point, right? If you add new emails, you can create a new email. You can add wait periods. So the next thing I'm going to show you is some small little things. So the first thing is, how can you rearrange the emails? So for example, let's say you created multiple emails. You created 10 emails in this list. And then maybe, for example, if you added all those 10 emails, you think by yourself, oh, maybe I should have started with this email, right? So maybe you should have started with the 15 newsletter ideas. So what do you need to do? Do you need to recreate this automation from scratch again, or can you just rearrange the emails inside the automation? Well, inside ActiveCampaign, you can rearrange the emails. Just gonna grab this email and you're gonna paste it over here. And then it says this pop-up pop-up, and then you're gonna select move this single action. I'm gonna click OK. And then if you want to swap it with this email, you're just gonna take this email and you're gonna paste it over here. Then there is this pop-up again, move single action, OK. So as you can see, I just rearranged those emails. So that is a pretty neat feature, and it's really simple, but I'll tell you that not every email marketing service company offers this feature that you can just swap emails. So I remember back in the day that I was still using MailChimp, for example. There you cannot rearrange emails inside an automation. So I'm not sure if it's still not possible inside MailChimp. I guess not, but yeah, it's pretty annoying if you want to swap emails that you cannot do that. Then another cool thing about ActiveCampaign is that you can easily unsubscribe someone from an automation. So let's say for this specific automation, there are 2 people waiting for this next email, and maybe you want to unsubscribe one of those emails. So I'm going to click on this Q button over here. So as you can see, there's only 1 email waiting for the next email. So this contact is waiting for the next email. And if I want to unsubscribe this contact from this specific automation, I'm going to open the contact. And then over here, I can see the active automations for this specific contact. I can just open this automation. I'm going to click on it, and I can just click the end button over here. And this is the same automation. And now this contact is unsubscribed from this specific automation. So if we go back to the automations, so this is the Evergreen newsletter. And as you can see, now the queue is gone. So that email address, I just unsubscribed that email address from this specific automation. So then the next thing is, let's say you have multiple lead magnets, right? So you have multiple of these landing pages. You have multiple ebooks you're giving away for free, and you're trying to get more subscribers with those lead magnets. And you want to create multiple automations for those specific lead magnets, right? So this is one automation for this specific lead magnet. So let's say you have another landing page and you want to create a new automation for that specific landing page. You can easily do that by just copying this automation. So if we go back to automations, you're just going to click this icon over here and you're going to say copy. Yes, copy. I'm going to click on edit automation. So the first thing you need to keep in mind, this automation will start as inactive. So you need to change this to active to enable this automation to be active. But then we're gonna go back to the trigger over here. So let's say you create a new landing page for a different ebook you're giving away, but they are in the same list. So they are still in the same leads list. But for this, you want to change the sign up form, right? So for example, you created a new ebook, a new lead magnet for a different sign up form. So let's say the widget newsletter form. So now if someone subscribes through the widget newsletter form, this automation will start. So you can go on and on with this. You can create as many automations as you want. But I do want to tell you that similar to what I told in the beginning, that you should not go crazy with tags. You should also not go crazy with automations, because the more emails you create, the more automations you create, the more complicated it all gets, right? So don't go crazy with too much automations, too much different emails. Try to keep it as simple as possible. That's my experience. So then another cool thing of ActiveCampaign is that you can actually A/B test your automation. So if you're going to click this plus icon over here, you can select conditions and workflow. And here you can select the split. So I'm going to select that one. So I'm going to select even split. Just to keep it simple, I'm going to select the upper one. I'm going to click apply. So now all people that are entering this automation, they will go through path A, but also go to path B. So if I just copy these emails, so the exact same emails, and I paste them into the path B, so I can just tweak little things. So let's say the subject line of every email. So I can just A/B test the 2 different paths. And after you see enough contacts go through those specific paths, you can check the reports to see which path performs the best results. You know, the best open rates, the best click rates. That's a pretty nice feature that I didn't come across into a different email marketing service provider. Then lastly, let's say this is the last email of your Evergreen newsletter. What do you need to do after this automation ends, after someone goes through all of your emails? So you can select this plus icon over here. So here you can either select end this automation, you can say unsubscribe from list. You can say, for example, if someone didn't purchase my product yet, I want to unsubscribe them from my list, or I want to move them from a different list. I suggest you take some time to just go through the options over here. But in the meantime, like to keep it simple, I'm just gonna select end this automation. But there are many different options you can choose to move that contact to a different list or a different automation. Or whatever you want. So after you're done with creating the automation, make sure you switch this to active. So in this last lesson, I will show you a quick overview of how ActiveCampaign's deal feature works and what you can do with it. Also, I'll show you how its CRM works, and I will also show you how to import deals into this deals feature of ActiveCampaign and all that great stuff. The first things first, if you want to have access to this feature, so the CRM feature of ActiveCampaign, you need to be in the Plus plan. If you're on the monthly plan and if you have less than 1,000 contacts, you'll pay $70 per month. But just so you know, the Lite plan doesn't have access to its CRM features. So first of all, if you click the $ over here, you will be redirected to the pipeline, so the deals feature. So what can you do with this deals feature, this pipeline feature? What does it do, the CRM feature? So first of all, if you start, you need to create a pipeline. So my pipeline is called guest blogging. So for example, I can also switch to a different pipeline, as you can see over here. So this is the sales pipeline. So in this pipeline, for example, there are 3 different stages. So we have the prospect stage, in contact stage, and we have the sales stage. So for example, in my guest blogging pipeline, we have multiple stages. So 7 stages in total. So my idea with guest blogging is to publish blog posts, content on other websites, to spread the word about creatoract.com, about my brand. So that's the idea of guest blogging. If you're looking to attract more visitors from Google, then guest blogging is definitely the way to go. So for example, I created, as I said before, I created 7 stages over here. So we have the Dream 1000 stage. So this is the initial stage where I enter new contacts in. And this is how it works basically. So these are deals. So test.com, emailmarketingheroes.com, robin.com, HuffPost.com. So these are called deals inside ActiveCampaign. You can add a deal over here, or you can also import deals. I'll show you how to do that in a bit. So in this initial stage, Dream 1000, I want to add as many website as possible that I would like to contact for to publish a guest blog on, basically. So let's move these contacts, let's move these deals back to the Dream 1000. So let's say I want to send robin.com an email to ask whether or not they accept a guest blog from me. So I'm gonna open this deal over here, and I can just click on send an email over here. And I can add a subject line, hello, I can write the email. And after writing the email, I can just click send. And after that initial email to ask whether or not they accept guest blogs, I'm gonna add a task over here. So I'm gonna add a task that says follow up if there is no reply. So I'm gonna say the task type, email, the due date, so it's now the 21 of it's now May 21. So let's say if I didn't have a reply before next Friday, I want to follow up with this specific deal. So I'm gonna say add task. So now I added a task for myself to make sure I follow up if there is no reply on my email. So what I do right now is I'm gonna move this contact to the first contact attempt, so to the second stage of the pipeline. So now if I click this icon over here, I can see the tasks that are waiting for me. So here we can see the different stages, right? So the first contact attempt, second in conversation, writing the blog send, publish. So for example, over here, the first contact attempt, I can see the next action. So in 6 days, follow up if there's no reply by email. So now this is grouped by stage. I can also say group by next action, for example. So here we can see overdue tasks. We can see what deals has no tasks assigned. And here we can see scheduled tasks. As you can imagine, if you have, like, for example, a spreadsheet of 300 contacts, so people you would like to contact for whatever reason, a sale. So in my case, publishing a blog post on their website, having a feature like this, a CRM feature where you can keep track of all the different tasks to make sure you follow up on the contacts that didn't reply to your emails, works way better, way more efficient than working in a spreadsheet, right? Working in an Excel spreadsheet, for example. But that is the idea of these different stages. So the idea is that these deals move through the different stages and eventually go through the end where the blog post has published. So in this case, I created a pipeline that's called guest blogging, but most businesses use pipelines for sales stuff. So this is an example pipeline over here. So the 7 main stages in a sales pipeline. So the first pipeline, there's prospecting. So then there's a lead qualification, demo or a meeting, proposal, negotiation and commitment, opportunity 1, post, purchase. And these different stages are basically these different things. So if you want to add a stage, you can just click this button over here and you're going to write the name of the stage and you can just add, and then that stage has been added to your pipeline. So the last thing I will show you how to import deals. So let's say if you have a big list, all kinds of different deals you want to add inside this pipeline. you're going to click on import deals, and here you can upload a CSV file. So this is how your CSV file should look. So you will have a column name. So these are the column names you will want to give your CSV file. So there should be at least a pipeline column, a stage column, a deal title, a deal owner, a contact, and a deal value, and a deal description. You can add more columns if you want, if you have more fields that you want to add for the specific deals. So these are basically the deals that you're adding. So we have the pipeline. So that is the pipeline name over here. So in this case, we want to import this specific deal into guest blogging. So the pipeline name. Then we have the stage. So to what stage do you want to import these deals? So in this case, I want to import these deals into the initial stage. Then we have the deal title. So that is this title over here. So HuffPost.com. So the deal title. Then we have the deal owner. So that is this field, the deal owner. And if you're unsure what the name is of the deal owner, just create a new deal. So add a new deal, and there you see what kind of people you have. So in this case, there's only one I can choose from, but here you can see how you should write that deal owner, the name of the deal owner. So you should have a deal owner, then the contact, obviously, so the email address, and then the deal value. So that can be a dollar value, and then we have a deal description. And if you want, you can add more columns. But in this case, I'm just going to use this. So I'm going to click on File. I'm going to click on download, and then download as CSV file. So after downloading that CSV file, I'm going to click on import deals and select the file, upload the file. And now, as you can see, similar to when you're importing contacts inside your email marketing for ActiveCampaign, we need to connect the different column names with the ActiveCampaign field names. So we have the pipeline. We need to connect it with the pipeline name, the stage name, deal title, deal owner, contact, and deal value. So the contact ID is actually contact email, and then we have the deal value and the deal description, which is the description over here. So if you have more fields, you can just connect those as well. Then you're gonna select import back to pipeline, and now your deals are imported into ActiveCampaign. As you can see, the deals feature inside ActiveCampaign can be a pretty handy tool. It is also way more cheaper than using Salesforce, for example. I read online that many people are switching from, for example, HubSpot or Salesforce to a tool like ActiveCampaign because it is way less money. But other than that, it is also way better than using a spreadsheet, right? There's way more overview of all the different tasks you need to do. You make sure that you follow up on every single deal instead of that it is being buried inside your email inbox. You can just quickly click a deal and see all kind of emails that has been sent to this specific email address, and also the emails you've received from this email. So it's a pretty cool feature. Try it out to see what you can do with this with your business. So this is the end of my ActiveCampaign tutorial. If you enjoyed it, make sure to click that like button. Also leave a comment down below, and also subscribe to the channel. I plan to publish weekly videos on this YouTube channel. And also make sure, don't forget to download this free ebook. Down below in the description, you can find the link to this ebook. Thanks for watching all the way to the end, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.